the director, and then I became a spokesperson. They allowed me to keep both roles. There's just some special rules to it. Like essentially, once the con hits, my role as spokesperson stops, and I'm only a director at that point,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was a great compromise. And but then when they offered me this next level director, where I get to help all these other reality tracks and get them whatever help they need, because they're already awesome, they're already doing
Mm-hmm.
amazing things. They're like, you like to stay busy. It's like, I like to not sit around. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when I have this energy, this creative energy that's flowing through DragonCon, it's where else can I help focus some of that and help somebody else and give them a
Mm-hmm.
moment, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
You are listening to the Artist King podcast. I am your host, DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com. The Artist King podcast features artists, entrepreneurs, and business coaches who share their knowledge, expertise, and resources to provide insight into the ways we can find our own personal success with our creative talents. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't know if you were gonna laugh at
That's
that.
right.
All right.
That's right.
So no, I am the rock god of podcasting, Charles McFall, and man, I am from everywhere you've ever wanted to be. Currently, I'm in Conyers, Georgia, uh, but I have had an illustrious and creative path in the last 20 years of my life in digital media. Currently, I'm co-host of the Little Brown Pill, which is coffee and comedy, because coffee is Viagra for your soul,
Mm-hmm.
and Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom. And that's about us being nerdy dads and sharing
Mm-hmm.
life and sharing our passions and fandoms like the anime I have behind me, here and all that. And yeah, do so many things. And tonight, I got to be here because of DragonCon. I am the
Mm-hmm.
digital spokesman for DragonCon as well as the digital track director. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I love what you do with everything you do about how art is education, education is art, and bringing people together. We're just making better humans, and that's all there is to this world, in my opinion.
Yes, making better humans. That my passion is art, drawing, and self expression, and I want to see others try it out themselves too.
Yeah.
That's it. So, whatever I can do, this is that's my joy, and seeing people just explode. Like you give somebody a little bit of tip or a little bit of insight, and next thing you know, they're gone, and you're like, I did that.
Yeah. You help hit that domino was almost there. You just give it a little
Yeah.
tap and it fell over.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
all.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So good. I mean, I know we're gonna get into it, but we're
Mm-hmm.
already talking about, for me, what DragonCon is that creative help.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be my 10th year as director of the track, and watch it go from where it was to people whose their origin stories now are, I came to XYZ panel at this track 5 years ago and asked this question, and the gist of every answer is, you told me I could, or you
Mm-hmm.
helped me with one little thing I couldn't get past, and now bam, here I am now on a panel at DragonCon telling you
Yes.
how to,
Well,
love it.
let's jump into that because I have other questions, and if anybody watching this, please stick around for the rest of the questions that I have for Charles, the rock god of podcasting. But I will start with what he just said. Yes, Dragon Con is like the place where inspiration is just magnified a million times, right? Because all the creatives come,
Yes.
everybody comes. I'm a big fan of comics, animation, games, and so I will tell you my origin story. I have
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and it has to do with Dragon Con. And I mentioned this before in other podcasts, and when I've done, I know we're here to talk about you, I'm gonna talk about myself.
I love it. This is
All
what a
right.
conversation
Yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah,
This is how you
yeah.
get to really get to part of what people need to hear is just by talking about yourself. I don't mean that.
Yes,
I do.
no, I appreciate that. So, I got to Atlanta in 1994. I was in the Marine Corps, and I'm from LA, and so on. I got to 94. I don't know when DragonCon began. What year was that?
87, 1987.
86.
This is
So,
our 40th show.
oh, nice. There you go. 40 years. Awesome. And so, so here I am. And the first year I'm here, I got here in September. And so I'm not sure when I went to DragonCon. It could have been, and I might have missed September that year, but it might have been the next year after. Anyways, I'm in downtown. I had no idea about nothing. I came to Atlanta because I wanted to be an artist, and Atlanta was up and coming. The Olympics were coming, Atlanta was not what it is today when it comes to the arts, and compared to LA and New York and so on, right? And especially when it comes to comics, because I wanted to be a comic book artist. That's what I wanted, and so I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
So I came to Atlanta thinking, okay, it's an up and coming city. I want to grow with it. And so I'm walking downtown. I see all these people everywhere, and I was like, "What is this?" And this DragonCon was not what it is today, but it was
Right.
huge. It was huge, and so I was able to walk into the hotel to see what's going on. Like, what is this? What's going on here? So I got as far as to where they ask you for a badge or a pass, because there were some parts of the hotel that were still
Sure.
accessible, and there were doors, and behind those doors you could not get through unless you paid. And so I'm like, well, I didn't know what this was, so I just came to see what was going on. I always carried a backpack with some sketchbooks and paper and pencils, and I'm always drawing, right? And I felt like I don't want to leave this behind because I might inspiration might hit me, and I need to sit down and I need my stuff. And so as I'm walking around, I see people and I see this guy standing by a column, and he has a couple comic books in his hand. He's holding them out like this, and I can't remember if he had a sign or a little piece of paper that said like $1 or $2 for an ash can of his comic book. And I didn't know, I didn't go to art school, I didn't hang out with artists, I didn't know anything about the art world, but I knew enough about comics that I knew what an ash can was. And so I started talking to him, hey man, and so I started asking him questions, and and he's just a regular guy, just has a regular job. He did not have a badge for DragonCon either, but he's out there selling his comics. Like he's just
Sure.
gonna stand there and sell his comics and stuff. And um and so by then I think, yeah, I had been here a year or so already, and I was working, and I was a cook, and so I was always working real late. We did catering. It was insane schedule that I had, and but I carried my backpack because I wanted to draw whenever I had a chance. And so here I am talking to this guy, and I'm looking at his comic, and I'm like, hey man, so how long did it take you? What does it take? How did you do it? And then he's telling me he has a regular job, and I'm thinking to myself, whoa, when does you find the time? Like, you're always tired, you're always working, you're always. And I
Sure.
was on the
Yeah.
bus in those days, and anywhere you want to get to in Atlanta, you need 2 hours to get there if you're on the bus in the MARTA. And so I said to him, so when do you have time to work on this comic? And he looked at me, and I think like this is a moment that the universe was talking to me personally. Like, I don't even know who this guy is. If he didn't exist, it was a figment of my imagination, because he looked at me in my face and he said, if you really want it, you'll find the time.
Mm.
And that hit me in the chest, like like one of those anime moments where the energy is just like, you're
Yeah.
electrified. and
Yeah.
uh and I was like, oh man, I gotta want it. And so ever since then, uh, when I talk to artists, and they tell me like, oh yeah, Dan, I want to be an artist, give me some advice, what can I do with my art? I'm like, well, show me what you worked on today before you came over here. Oh, well, this is what I did in high school, this is what I did when I was a kid. I was like, okay, show me what you did this week, show me what you did this month. Like,
Yeah.
no, show me right now that you're on this, that you want this. Like that stuck to me ever since. And that's how I feel about Dragon Con every time I go. Like,
Yeah.
all of these people,
Wow.
they did it, they worked on it, and they're here showing it off.
Yeah, man, we spend so much of our lives working for somebody else's dream. Why are we not putting a tenth of that energy into our own? I'm in that same spot now. It's I keep taking contracts and jobs to because I have to earn the money. I do. But I'm mocking myself a little bit, going, but why am I not putting that some of that energy into
Hmm.
being bigger, better, better, more, getting my art out there, getting my creations out there, doing more. And it's funny at DragonCon, I start off as a director and it's a small track, and we start with only having to do like 36 hours of programming over 4 days. And that's basically 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. is
Hmm.
what you're required to do, more or less. And so I did that the first year and it just felt so hollow. And so the next year we went to like 48 or 50 pounds. And the next year we jumped like 57 and it was a lot because I didn't have
Hmm.
the right team for it. So, it was like, okay, we brought it down. This year, man, this year we're doing like 82 hours of content because we have two
Wow.
rooms for digital media track. Now that's just my track alone, right? But
Wow.
these are things I'm responsible for influencing and
Yeah.
managing.
Yeah.
then on top of that, I had the other tracks, and when they talked to me about being, because I was the director, and then I became a spokesperson. They allowed me to keep both roles. There's just some special rules to it. Like essentially, once the con hits, my role as spokesperson stops, and I'm only a director at that point,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was a great compromise. And but then when they offered me this next level director, where I get to help all these other reality tracks and get them whatever help they need, because they're already awesome. They're already doing
Mm-hmm.
amazing things. They're like, "You like to stay busy." It's like, I like to not sit around. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when I this energy, this creative energy that's flowing through DragonCon, it's where else can I help focus some of that and help somebody else and give them a
Mm-hmm.
moment, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
It's so I love hearing that, that you know, it just it hits you, and that was your unlock,
Yep.
and now look at you now.
Right. Right. Look at me now. That's right.
Now, is this the first year that you're I don't know if you've told your people, so I'm gonna out you, that, Dan is officially, press invited to DragonCon this year.
Yes. Well, we've been Artist King is the nonprofit organization that we started in 2012. My wife and I saw the need at that time for our business education, and this is after I had gone through a entrepreneur and a startup world mentorship where I learned a lot, a lot about business, and customer discovery, all these things. And I'm like, we're missing it. We're missing it. And so we started Artist King. And it's been a conference. It's been a series of workshops and classes. Everything is free. We don't charge. And so I've known Dan Carroll.
Yeah,
My man Dan Carroll, for a ton of years. I can't remember how long is over since 2008, 2009, something like that. And so once we started Artist King, I'm like, well, let me go ahead and since we have a blog and we try to share what we know and what we have, I said, well, let me apply and see what happens. And so yeah, we've been press for a few years, and we skip
nice.
a year or two due to responsibilities, and
Sure.
but we're there. I'm there to cheer on the artists, cheer on the creators, cheer on the writers, the cosplayers, everyone who's found a way to follow their passion and make it a business, or at least have fun and enjoy yourself, but you're following your passion. So yeah, we you'll see us around a lot.
I agree. We need more of that. We really
Yeah.
need the funniest thing that I hear at DragonCon, because there's always an app, there's in my circles, of course, being them inside, people that are close to me, they're avid fans, so they're always on every announcement, everything,
Mm-hmm.
and when the app drops and all the this and that and the other. So the funniest thing I hear at the con was if somebody comes across a celebrity or thing like, "I didn't know you were here." And
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, well, there are 600 something celebrities and attending pros. That's a lot to keep up with.
Yep.
That's the magic of DragonCon. The saddest thing would be to hear somebody say, "I didn't know I could."
Uh-huh.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
and we I just see so much of that, in that world of opportunity, like you're talking about, the artist king, and making things available to people, and we have a track that has just stuff for kids to come in and make. I think we're doing a special. I think we did it last year. I'm pretty sure we're doing it again this year. Cardboard castle building time, where they get to come and make forts and stuff out of boxes and
Wow.
Lego panels, and yeah, so people like to ask,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
"What is DragonCon?" And I think you're nailing it with your story. It is what you make it. It is who
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
DragonCon is a reflection of who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it 10 times louder, and it's amazing. It's fun. It's exciting. It's the true magic in the world, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I've been friends with a few people who put on the diversity track. And a few years ago, we were hanging out, and my wife is big nerdy into Star Trek and a few things, and so we have to go. We have to be there. My wife has also been a competitor for the teapot racing, and
Okay.
she's been a competitor. She's won the People's Choice, and she's also been a judge. So
Nice.
so we're in there. Okay, we're
Yeah.
in there.
Living the dream.
And so, but yeah, I've been hanging out. Sometimes you just go and hang out, and next thing I know, one year, friend of ours, Jarvis, he leads the diversity track.
Person making them, yeah.
Yep. And so he says, "Hey Dan, our moderator is not here. Jump up there because they know I do the podcast, right?" And they're
Yeah.
like, "Jump up there." And I'm like, "Well, I have no idea. I was just here. I didn't know there was a session, and I had no idea what y'all supposed to talk about. So all I need is a title." And
Yep.
that's it. Let me sit
That's
down.
it.
I just need a title because I'm gonna ask the same questions that I always ask, and that starts a whole bunch of information. Then I can start picking.
That's it. That's it. It's one little thing.
Yeah.
You said it was dominant. All. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and that's it, and that's I think DragonCon is the place where you see all these artists, creators, writers from all around the country and beyond, and they're here and they're in one place. You get to have that experience with them, and you always feel sad the last day of DragonCon. You're like, oh, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of have I don't know if it's a habit, tradition, but I kind of on Sunday night, I tend to, after the last show goes off for me, I tend to kind of go back down to the room when it's
Hmm.
empty
Hmm.
and kind of reflect on the whole weekend
Hmm.
and just kind of think about the effect it had and different things. And it's a happy sad, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're about to walk away. Well, people leave Sunday, I leave Monday, but you're about to walk away on Monday,
Hmm.
and it's another year. But at the same time, it was amazing.
That's right. Yes, yes. It's that chance, and you need that year to recharge. You need that whole year to
Yeah,
pre-plan the next one. So yes, it's a lot of love. So let's talk about you.
let's do it.
Cause,
I love
cause,
it.
yes, cause your name is Charles, but you're the rock god of podcasting. You mentioned two podcasts that you're working on, and you have a lot to say, which is great. I think we're all creators or artists in some kind of way, and having the outlets, the media available to us to
Oh
have this
yeah.
outlet is amazing for those of us who use it. So tell us a little bit about what do you do with it? Well, the questions are what growing up, what was it that you were doing that you felt like this is what I wanted to when I grew up?
Gotcha. My dad's a preacher, so
Oh.
I grew up, yeah, and preaching. So that's where my showmanship kind of comes from,
Hmm.
watching, and also from as early as I can remember, always having to put on a character here to face this crowd and a different face over here, and it's yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, so I really got into storytelling early on. I don't know if it was because I would always have to get up and read a Bible verse or you always on whatever it was,
Hmm.
but I loved storytelling. And I grew up in the era of mixtapes. So I'd make this
Hmm.
little DJ mixtape of songs and like, this was going out to Clarissa because her boyfriend, and make up some story about her, or whatever. And you recorded that on my boombox.
Uh-huh.
But then my first, there was a audio bit in the early days of the internet, that an MP3 that would go around, called the knack. It's a doctor telling her mother of newborn kids, "I'm sorry, he's got the knack," and basically it's listing off all these geek things, and it's like a negative diagnosis and this and that. But when I realized I had the knack was Quantum Leap, had aired its last episode, right?
Hmm.
Uh, taking a sabbatical episode, and I'd watched all the episodes of everything there, and then I just was had a lot of emotion. I didn't know how to express it,
Uh-huh.
so I took two VCRs and the boombox, and because I realized I could feed video from one VCR to the other and feed audio from the boombox, and I made this cut video montage of the show with like "Wind Beneath My Wings" by Gloria Estefan, and even in, I cut the speech in with bartender slash God talking to Sam right before he leaps the last time,
Hmm.
and and I just did it because I had to express myself, and that's kind of, as a little bit, that's like, oh, I was born to be a producer and a storyteller, and I was built to be in front of people. So I've done a lot of work behind the scenes on production and stuff, but I love to be in front of people. Small churches. When I was 13 on, so it was after the VCR thing, I would go in, find the sound system, and then I'd be my dad's audio guy, learn how to play speakers and headphones. And so I just kind of self-taught all the way up. And that thought, first I wanted to be on radio. Then I realized you have to get up stupid early in the morning. I'm not down with that. and you have to be an intern, which means you don't really get paid. I'm
Yeah.
also not down with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I passed that path and thought I was going to do a band and did music for a while until I discovered podcasting. And then in 2004, I found that, and that was,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Is were you in high school? Were you part of the AV club or plugging
homie, I
things in?
was homeschooled. I was the AV club.
You was it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I remember having to learn how to do overhead projectors for my dad at his church, and
Uh-huh.
duplicating tapes and then magnetizing the tapes to erase the old ones and redo,
Uh-huh.
yeah, anything that was audio, visual, production, recording, sound producing, I was on top of it.
And so then you before finding podcasting, were you doing jobs that were related to technology to AV in the AV area or
Trying to think. So, I mean, I had the standard Taco Bell job, and
I worked
still
at
love
Taco Bell. I worked at
Yeah, sponsor me, Taco Bell. And Dan too. Sponsor us both. Dan show my life. That's all I'm saying. But I worked I think I had some odd jobs early on that some of it dealt with computers or a TV, connected. I just loved solving the puzzle. So as new tech came out, I was always on top of it.
Yeah.
As always, every job I've ever had, if it had a computer, I kind of by default became the tech guy. You asked her, I'll fix it, type of deal. Ultimately, I did do a year or two in live event world where I actually went out to. I only did one concert in the hayfield, but I love to go out to hayfields and build stages, and we turned it into a big country rock concert venue, and then in 24 hours tore it all down. And I did that for a good year or two, and then I worked at a hotel in their AV company here in Atlanta. I worked there for a couple of years as their AV people.
Nice. So how'd you start your podcasting? Was it a gig with somebody or on your own? Whose idea was it?
It was so here. The dumbest thing is I'm gonna tell it from the end to the beginning.
All right.
Dumbest thing is sometimes even to this day I feel like I falsely believe that I need other people so I can be successful. And not that because I always was told to squash my ego. I was at 14, I was 6 foot tall and like 300 pounds. So my mom always like, kids will basically hold yourself back. And I haven't put myself back in any area other than believing in myself.
Yeah, good.
So when I first started, I discovered it by accident. I was working as a paramedic, and in this is a volunteer fire department. I was paid paramedic, but there was nothing to do for most of the time. And so, and it was a mile from my house. So I'm not driving anymore, and I'm missing the morning radio shows. I'm like, I like that energy. I like the comedy. And I thought, hey, I'll go. And this is 2004. Hey, I'll go check out the website, see maybe I can hear some playbacks or something. And it went podcast. I went, what's that? And I clicked on it. And it wasn't a podcast. It was basically they clipped out some 5-minute segments, and it was the worst 5-minute segments of their show. But it was, I mean, it truly was. But it's like, here's some 5-minute segments that you can just download or play on them. I'm like, okay, that was crap, but something about it just tingled my brain. Like, that's interesting. I wonder if there's more of that. And I typed in podcasts on Hotbot or Dog Search or whatever we had back then. And podcastpickle.com came up, which was one of the first listing sites directories for podcasts. And I went to music and found what did Dave Jackson, this is one of his first shows, Water Cooler Talk or something like that. I don't remember. I got that about music. I downloaded a show called Two Guys One Brain because it was two jailers. in Vancouver. I'm like, oh, I hear some Canada stuff. No, it's Vancouver, Washington. That was not as fun. So it took me way too long to figure it out. But yeah, so and then I became a producer for them and went on. But that's how I kind of came and found it. And so to do
Uh-huh.
my own, it was always my idea. The first one, it's very dumb. But every podcast I listened to, everybody was NBR, and we're not going to tell you our real name. We're not
Mhm.
going to tell you what state we live in. You know, it's very. I was like, oh my
Mhm.
god, I've been so depressed all my life. You
Mhm.
give me a microphone, just step back. And that
Yeah.
rock got me bored. And the first one show I did was pulling my pod, and it was just comedy bits and
Mhm.
just dirty. Yes, it was dirty and it was dumb. It was my brother-in-law, and that one crashed, and I did another one. But my first success was I was in this spot in life, and I'd test run. I didn't know what I was gonna call it at the time, but I test run in my first successful show, and I had a friend who sat in, and he was kind of bouncing ideas off of me, and I was bouncing off of him, but he wasn't gonna be a co-host. He had no desire, and the energy wasn't right anyway. And he just said, "Man, just go do it." And because the ultimate thing was I felt alone in the world.
Mhm.
In a specific situation growing up, I didn't feel like I could go to my parents about marriage advice. How I guess I inherently kind of knew that my dad was always disconnected and my mom really didn't like my wife. So
Ah.
it's a thing. But
Mhm.
I didn't have anybody. I didn't know who to talk to, but I knew mentally, because I'm very smart. I knew no matter how I felt, statistically, I cannot be the only person in the world
That's right.
like,
Mhm.
and just something clicked about the songs I was writing that weren't quite working, and the music I was doing wasn't quite working. It's like, just say it, just say the thing.
Mhm.
And I flipped on the microphone, stared at a wall that was about 5 feet from me, and just zoned out and just emotionally vomited all over my.
Mhm.
There were no rules, and that show was called Air Crawling, where metal attitude meets talk radio.
Uh-huh.
And that I got multiple nominations, ultimately met a bunch of people
Nice.
that moved my career forward and all that jazz. But yeah, that was it. It's 7 episodes in, I got my first email from a stranger
Mhm.
who was basically is CB. And CB says um something along the lines of, "Oh God, I thought my family was bad till I heard your stories.
Dang.
You have helped me get through Thanksgiving. Thank you."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh, and that just I was like, "This is it. This is what I'm
Mm.
doing the rest of my life." And when I say that, people, it there was no Patreon. There
Mhm.
was no, "Oh, everybody knows what a podcast is," and now even celebrities wanna do that.
Mhm.
It was, "What?" So it's like radio, but
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
what do you mean download? What's download? Because we're
Mhm.
still somewhat in dial-up internet, and you
Mhm.
checked your email and got all.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2004 doesn't sound like it's that far back, but with the technology jumps we've had,
Yeah.
it's the first iPod,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah.
um,
That's the
but
early
yeah,
days for real. The early days.
it was, yeah, I mean, it
Uh-huh.
was essentially podcasting started in the spring of 2004 with Adam
Mm.
Curry. I can never remember the tech guy he worked with.
Mhm.
No, his name Andrew something, I think.
Mhm.
But basically, they came up with what's called an enclosure, what makes the RSS feed. They
Uh-huh.
essentially took that and figured out how to
Uh,
embed M3s, and
wow.
hence podcasting's board. Because Adam Curry did MTV and he did radio stuff, and he
Mhm.
kept getting
Mhm.
shut down, not shut down, but basically sponsors wanted him to talk a certain way, and he wanted to do his
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
So that's how he did it. But yeah, it wasn't make money. It wasn't. There was no career. I was like, no, this is it. This is what I'm doing
Mhm.
the rest of my life. I'll be on
Mhm.
stage. I'll be the biggest there ever was. And people are like,
Mhm.
"Ah, what again?"
Mhm.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
that's just my whole path.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a great you found your format. You found the format that fit you to then be great at and explode as yourself. That's amazing. Now, in the beginning, you said that you tried some formats and didn't work so well. But did you say you worked for somebody first before you started doing your podcast, and that's how? Is that
I
or did you start experimenting on your own doing a podcast?
I think I basically started. See, they were so gracious, the two guys, one brain. they let me start telling some of my I was a paramedic, they were jailers, so it was similar walks of life, and I got to start writing in some of my stories. And then
Um,
because I had band equipment, I had portable microphones, soundboards,
mm-hmm,
computer to record on or
mm-hmm,
whatever,
mm-hmm.
I started doing segment. I started
Ah, okay.
recording some things and playing with
Uh-huh.
ideas,
Uh-huh.
and, I made him a segment called 5 and 5, where it's a summary of their last 5 episodes in less than 5 minutes, and it's just
Uh-huh.
random cuts and
Uh-huh.
so and then I'd call in and, um
So you were like pretty much producing the
yeah,
content that they were adding to
yes,
their podcast. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and then yeah, I think it was after I was like, "Oh, I mean, okay, they liked the writing, then they liked the segments, then they liked me actually what I had to say and the jokes I'd call in and different things." So that I think it's after that I started my own
Let's
podcast.
see. Yeah, you had to. That's good. And that's it. I think I wanted to make that clear because, as talented as you are, coming out the gate, you may not get a hit right out.
Yeah, yeah. You
I
won't find Pulling My Pod anywhere on the internet, people, I'll tell you. It did not hit. Surprisingly, you would think the Mormons be into it, but they weren't. It was
okay.
yeah, it did not hit anywhere. So, my
I
partner on my other show is a Mormon. I like to give him grief.
There you go. I started my podcast. It was 2012, and I went with audio because my initial intention was to do video interviews with artists, but I did not know how to edit video, and I didn't know what to do. I just knew how to record with the phone, like with an iPhone. It was an iPhone
Sure,
and
yeah.
iPhone 4. And so I will set up, actually, I got an old iPhone 4 right here. So I will set up the phone some kind of way and then start talking, asking questions. And and then I sat down and like, well, how do I edit any of this? I don't
Mhm.
know. So I just pulled the audio and I think Audacity was the app
Sure,
for editing audio, and I was like, well, there it is. That's it. There's the. Let me start with a podcast so that I know how to do that. And then years later, I figured out how to use Premiere and all those things. And but I was just using the phone to record video, and after a while, I just used an Android phone just to record the audio. And then I got a microphone, a little lav
yeah,
mic,
you should
and
exactly.
that's
Nope,
just little
nope.
things like boom, and
And now look at your studio, man. Look at that. We grow.
yeah,
We
right,
swim into the oceans that we build with our minds.
right. And I like to share those things because when people get started, they make a store run and they buying this equipment. It's like you don't even know what you need yet. Like slow down. There's power in your phone in your hand. Where is my phone?
Yes,
This one of these are back here. And like you have a whole lot of machine right here. And
right there.
and if that's meant to if you're meant to follow that path, see what you can do with that, and then
Yeah.
slowly start adding a few things
So
here and there.
for your audience, our common story is we started with what we had in our hands
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and went from there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. Just go. And so yeah, that wanted to make sure that I caught that about you.
Yeah.
So
Click
now,
it.
that's right. So now you got a couple of podcasts. The Brown Pill. What's the Brown Pill about? And how'd you get started with that?
Oh man, see now that's a great new age story. My new life, the era I'm entering
Okay.
now. The Little Brown Pill is coffee and comedy, and Josh Cooper is the dad from Uploads of Fun. You may not necessarily recognize the name, but more than likely, depending on your algorithms, you have
Mm-hmm.
seen their videos come across your TikTok. At the time I started, met him last year, there were about 10 million followers across the platforms, and now I think they're up to 12, 13. And it's through DragonCon that I met him. He had found DragonCon and had applied because I can only go after so many creators a year, and it's a very few. So I kind of rely on people applying and coming to us to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did that, and I was like, the name's vaguely familiar. And immediately I looked him. I was like, oh yeah, that I would love to have them because a dad and two kids, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
strange thing kids say, and all these funny skits and really good writing, and so yeah, absolutely let's have him. So I set up a meeting with him, and as you do, and he was kind of our energy just kind of clicked instantly,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, well, hey, man, if you'd like, I have these two shows. At the time, I was doing a show called Be Awesome Together with Tyra Burton, who's still doing it now. And then Wise and Nerdy. It's like, I think Be Awesome Together would be great if you'd come on. We'll talk about a dad being a creative and how you create with your kids and teach from that point and that viewpoint and that kind of thing. And in the preamble, as I was doing, we got to talking about coffee. Either the preamble or the after, but we got to talking about coffee. And oh man, I love coffee. And he does like, he goes, I got real bougie real fast. Like, oh yeah, tell me about your. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I do have a K cup, blah blah blah, but I do my own beans, and then I have this French press I use every once in a while. I was like, okay, you really do kind of like coffee. And he said, then, oh man, that'd be great. I joke always like, we should start a podcast about this. We just kind of went off the topic. Like, I do a podcast about that. I'm like, sure, he'd just be nice, right? He's semi-celebrity working through a professional organization. Sure. I never take that at face value. And you shouldn't.
Right. They're being nice.
You don't want people to be nice.
Right.
Make them go, no, dude, I don't ever want to see you again. Yeah. So then there's another interaction, and the thing about coffee came up. Then we're at DragonCon, and ultimately helped him with more panels than intended. And I just, again, we're just talking. We're just matching on things. And right after DragonCon, I was like, "Are you serious about that coffee podcast?" Like, yeah, dude. When can we start? And we started doing it once a month because we just wanted to talk coffee. And he was sharing his ideas, and I'm a researcher. I will, like, our first episode, we dug deep into how freeze-dried decaf was made. It's basically brown sugar. Don't do it. It's gross.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, and we're just having fun making each other laugh. And we were being respectful of each other's time because he knows I'm busy. He sees what I do with my world. And I'm like, that's his job. His job is to do uploads of fun. And they're getting like sponsorship deals with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They did an ad for them. And, cool. You're about 3 steps ahead of where I want to be. I'm almost there where I can grind that every day. But I'm being respectful. And then finally, we just had a talk after about 5 of these episodes that has been once a month spread out. It's like, I could do this every Saturday if you can do it. I'm just being respectful. He's like, oh, I can do it every Saturday if you could. And so now we do it every week. And that's how it came about, because it's, instead of me stopping myself, this is the teaching part I love about what I do. And like, you're allowed some shows, you come on and they're like, just tell us about this and get to, but you're a very big creative heart, man. I love it. But the thing was, I'd always tell myself I'm not good enough to work with that person. And that's here I've been going, look at what I've done in 20 years. I've worked with a lot of celebrities. I've taught myself. I talked my way into every job at DragonCon that I've gotten.
There you go.
But the more you get into it, the more you realize how sacred and special it is to the people who run it. So I'm like, they not only allowed me in, they saw me and wanted me to do more. And so I'm going to lean into that energy and let that feed me. And that's been feeding me for a while. So I finally got to this point this year where, like, I can work with anybody. And if they want to talk, let's talk. And so, yeah, we have a blast doing that. And it's just us sharing stories it's like you would have a cup of coffee with your best friend and you just sit down and you're just catching up for the week, except we're also comedic writers and showmen. So we're absolutely putting bits in and messing with people, but we're also very honest about you seeing Project Hail Mary and just gushing and talking and because I'm editing, we release in batches, so I can't remember if I recorded a batch and one batch for edited, but there's one recent episode that's probably yet to come out. We start off talking about Daredevil season 2. Born Again, season 2. Then somehow we get to this law talk about his religious life and church and talk about, and then I bring it back to the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, and that's how the conversation goes because it's coffee fun.
Nice. I did a series for a couple years, a podcast. Well, it was video. Well, by then I had already learned how to do video production, and it was right before the pandemic. And so I was doing a lot of in studio video interviews, and I called it Coffee Break with DTM. and it was just talking to professionals about themselves and their story and their background, and just trying to get inspiration. But a friend of mine said, "You're they're too long because a coffee break is like 15 minutes," and
What are we in the 1960s? What are we talking about
yeah.
here?
But I love coffee. I have a whole little mug for that
Yeah,
show that has the word coffee like 1,000 times on it.
I love
And
it.
I have my own grinder, and
Yes.
I buy the beans, and I make my
Okay,
coffee every
what do you
morning.
know about roast dates? What do you know about roast dates?
I thought that I have not gone deep enough into like I do know which beans I like, where I go buy some beans, but that's it. But yeah, and I've had the I forget the names, but anyway, I have a French press, and I also had the kettle, the thing that the silver metal thing that goes in on the stove, and percolates the
Yeah, the
coffee.
kettle.
Forget.
Well, you have a percolator and
Uh,
a kettle, and they're
yes,
both yeah.
yep. So, and I like good coffee. Like, and if I was out of sugar, because I only use brown sugar or monk fruit, anyways.
I've
Less.
heard good things about
You
monk
know,
fruit, yeah.
and then I get good coffee beans, so I can still drink it straight.
See,
Like
my
that's that.
man. That's what we're talking about. And we tell horror stories of stuff we've had to drink in coffee. And so the thing is, if you're not into coffee,
Uh huh.
it's still an enjoyable show.
Uh
But
huh.
if you like coffee, it's a fantastic show. You're really gonna love it.
Sip a cup or two while you're listening.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, there's one video. It is out. It's in the first batch. But we did the coffee corn is what we called it. And I did a French press. Took it's my desk over there, but I took the camera, aimed it down, and like did the whole measuring, not
Uh
French
huh.
press, pour over.
Uh
So
huh.
you
Pour over. Uh
the
huh.
thing got the kettle, I had to measure it all out and do all the magic with it. And he's just
Yep.
going, "Oh, I need to get my pour over again." And the video's on YouTube. It's awesome.
Okay. Okay.
So and I'm
Yes.
learning. I'm having a fun time learning more and more about coffee. And man, when I dive in, I dive in. So for my anniversary this year, which is back in January, we went to a con in Chattanooga. I try to kind of double up, and because cons don't pay me, so it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, hey, if I can take my wife and we can have an anniversary trip, it's all worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And she booked us a roasting class at Rembrandt's Coffee in Chattanooga, and I'm about to put that video out, but I got to go spend 2 hours literally from raw beans to the roast and learning about the history of them.
Why? Yeah. Yeah.
Coffee's cherry.
Yeah.
Coffee's cherry. Blew my mind.
Uh
I had
huh.
no idea. So
Uh huh.
anyway, I'm just a little. You ever grow up watching Sesame Street?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Right.
Yeah, they used to do some of those pre-recorded videos where school kids went in and learned about
Right.
something
Mm-hmm.
manufacturer. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I felt doing this class. It's just like
Yeah.
just asking the questions and bouncing around and have fun. So yeah, it's a
It's
blast.
nice. Yeah. That's the show I like to watch. Also, the how it's made. Like, it's
Yeah,
like very interesting. It's like they figured it out. There was a lot of science and engineering to get you this thing that you get to use. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Hmm. That's a good idea. We travel a lot, my wife and I. That'd be a nice little trip
Dude,
right there.
every major city has a weird class to take. By weird, it's something you wouldn't think of.
Hmm.
Make your own, roll your own sushi,
Yeah,
pottery,
yeah,
painting. If you can
yes,
teach
of
them how to
course.
paint, but
Yeah,
um,
but no, we done that. We done that. Those sipping paint.
yeah, yeah,
You just somewhere else, and like, hey, let's try some stuff out. But that'll be good. The roasting. All right, all right, all right. Nice. So, tell me a little bit about the Weiss and Nerdy. Is it Weiss and Nerdy?
yeah.
No.
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that
Why
the
isn't
name?
nerdy? And someone's like, "Is that a play on white nerdy?" Yeah, because I wanted to use that song, but I don't have any capabilities to license that music, so we had to change it up a little bit.
Oh, I see.
But my partner Joe and I, we started a show together when the game Pokemon Go launched. He had already
Mm-hmm.
been a part of the group that had started Pokemon Go podcast, building up to the game. And then the guy who was essentially running that show, I was working with Brian Ibbett at the time. Brian Ibbett is one of the we lovingly call him one of the founding fathers of podcasting.
Okay.
It's on one of the longest running shows out there. It's Coverville.
Wow.
Like it's between 1,000 and 1,500 episodes. and just great guy. And so I got to work with him for a while, and he and I were doing a different show, and somebody reached out to him to see, he heard about him playing Pokemon, whatever. Basically, we bought the show right before the game launched. We were business people, and we got lined up. And then I don't know anything about Pokemon, but Brian didn't have any time, and Joe's the only one from the show that stayed. So Joe's gonna be the Pokemon expert, and I'm the everyman, just asking
Mm-hmm.
questions.
Nice.
And Brian was in there a lot, different times, but so Joe and I did that for about 8 years. We just built that show up and
Mm-hmm.
and did that one, and then it just got to a point where it was kind of dragging us down, and just the news wasn't good, and we weren't loving it anymore. But we're always doing Patreon content, so we record before the show and after the show. And
Mm-hmm.
after the show, we really would just kind of drop all not pretenses, but like we're not focused on performing
Mm-hmm.
for Pokemon. And we just talk about being dads. And oh man, have you seen Demon Slayer? And oh man, have you seen did it? And just talking like nerds and dads. And oh man, my kid did this something and
Uh-huh.
working. And we were recording. I'm like, after 5 or 6 times doing that, I'm like, dude, this is the show I want to do. This.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do Pokemon anymore. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how we phased into it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're dads at different levels. And the first year or two, Kurt was with us. Kurt died last year. But he was a grandfather with brand new grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the dad with now it's a 21-year-old 20, 14 and 13.
Okay.
And then Joe's kids are, I think Malachi's 13, 12. I named them all bad name. It's, it's Malachi's his oldest, Jebediah is his youngest, and Bob is his middle kid.
Dang,
Has
Bob.
nothing to do with their names, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
Bob. Brought to you by Bob. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
uh, he's a funny kid. But his kids are, I think, 13, like 13, 10, and
Mm-hmm.
6. So
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of covering
Yeah.
these ranges.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up Mormon. He's got different viewpoints than I have, and so we're this safe place for dads to come together and talk about the hardness of life, because it's hard
Yeah.
for any human
Yeah.
being to be a human being. And for
Yeah.
some reason, we get in these categories think, well, moms have it harder, or dads can't complain. It's like, no, it's hard to be a human. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're doing in life. So we talk about that, have some fun dativations where we play some royalty-free music, and I'd say, you breathe in, I'm really good at my job, and breathe out. That feels good. That's kind of thing. And there okay, so there's chaos to it. Every week you're anchored. Every week there's a question of the week. We're gonna start off there, you're gonna have fun. But then we roll the dice. There's 6 sections. Says, what are you nerding out about? Basically, what are you loving? What are you enjoying this week? How can we always want to learn something. How can we do this or that? This is more advice. There's Daddy, tell me a story. You sit down, you just relate something from your childhood. There's commercial breaks. I'm a professional. I want to make money. And then there's 2 more, but one is this. I got my dice gavel.
Okay.
It's the Parliament
Uh-huh.
of Papa. And we solve the problems of the world.
Nice.
Usually by a butt face from Reddit, but we solve the problems of the world. Advice. And then the section that I hate is the bad dad jokes.
Oh, okay.
People call them in, and it's just so grown worthy, and it's so messy. But that's the thing. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you want to tell bad dad jokes and things they're hilarious at Joe, he'll tell it. He can't even. He makes me laugh because he can't even stop for the punchline. He rolls right through like a little kid and starts laughing. And so it's
nice.
And it's for, we actually have an active listener who is a stepdad, so he asks some questions like, am I the butt face for this? Or sometimes it's like, hey, how do I deal with that? And that's what it is. It's just a fun, safe haven for kids. Again, I'm all about the funny and the comedy, but it gets real fast sometimes. And
nice.
We're just there for each other.
Yeah. No, that's great. It's like having an outlet. Like you're just having an outlet, really. It's
A non-prostate safe outlet.
you can't even go as far as call it therapy or
There's a little bit. I share what I've learned from my therapy. You take from what you will on it.
Exactly. Yeah. You get something out of it, and that's amazing. I am a grandfather. My kids.
You're like
Yes.
30,
Yes, sir. Right. Yes. Thank you so much. And so my kids are grown. They're in their 30s, and so my grandson, he's 10. That dude knows everything about all the Pokemon that ever
Oh yeah,
existed, who exists right
yeah.
now, and that's how we connect. He likes to draw, and so we've done live streams together, and he's sitting there drawing, I'm drawing, and he's telling me all these stories and all these things, and that's it, brother. That's what we do. We have to connect with our family and with our kids and our grandkids, and and be a person that they can
Yeah.
depend on, and there's a lot of learning that goes along the way, and I love every moment of it, and that's great that you have a show that it celebrates that. It celebrates that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I zoned out when you said your kids were 30 and out of the house, like, "Oh, no, what's that like?" Yeah, I do, I love my kids. My 21-year-old, I'm like, well, okay, 1, I was 23 before I got married and moved out, so he's still
Mm,
ahead of the game. I'm like, I just want him to start his life. It's like,
mhm,
"Dude, you've got a good job, you've got a good path, you've had the same lady in your life for 3 years, you're talking about getting married. Do it.
mhm.
Let's go, man."
Uh-huh.
Um And there was a friend, I think you'll appreciate this. There's a friend of mine I worked with a long time ago. We're both in our mid-30s at the time, and, maybe young 30s, because I had my older 2 were my baby 2 at the time,
Mhm.
and they came up to the office. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember what that's like, this and that." And he goes, he started having kids when, he was 16, 17.
Okay.
It wasn't planned, but he married the girl, and actually, they were still together when he was in 30s, and he was talking about his life, and it dawned on me, it's like, "Dude, okay, I can imagine what I went through, what I'm still going through as a father, dealing with who I am and learning and dealing with my anger and my trauma from my parents and another. So I can imagine at 16 and 17, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But dude, you're like 35 and they're moving out and you've got a whole life ahead of you. You got energy. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. You and your wife can go do whatever you want.
Right.
What-
Uh-huh.
There's something to be said. Do not encourage, I'm not encouraging teen pregnancy. There's something to be said when it's like right for your life and you're 35 and you're still in love with that same woman or
Mhm.
whoever you're with. For me, it's a woman. There's something to be said about having that energy to go, yeah, let's go on another cruise and have
Right.
fun.
Right. Yeah, that energy, right? Our grandkids. So I got two other ones, 3-year-old and a 6-year-old,
Okay.
and they are active nonstop. You have to force them to take naps. Like, I need a break. Y'all need to chill.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've heard. Now, I've heard the myth that as a grandparent, you can play with them and just give them back when you're
that's
done.
that's it. That is exactly true.
Okay,
Except
good.
that your children disappear. They dis- they
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
disappear, bro. They're like, oh yeah, it's only 2 hours, but that was yesterday. Like, where you at?
Yeah,
Uh,
my wife is down. Like, one of my sayings is my kids came up through high school. There's different talks that we've had about their lives, but one of the phrases I always go back to is like, "I ain't raising no grandkids."
yeah.
My wife, "Oh, I will." I'm like, "No, you won't." The purpose of that statement is
Uh-huh.
you're responsible for your life.
Right, right, right.
We're here to help, but no,
Uh-huh.
not. But I will. I'm like, "No."
Yeah, she will, then you will too, bro. That's just how
I
it's
know.
gonna go.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how,
but so
that's how it's gonna
my
go.
kids understand. Like,
Hmm.
get your feet underneath you.
That's okay. That's when you have your recording stuff ready to go. So when they show up, you put in the work.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you teach them how to edit.
Yes, I think maybe when I finally get grandkids in a number of years from now, that'll work. Because with my kids, they've all got skills from it. I
Hmm.
can't get them to hook in and go, "Oh, I wanna do that." I've taught them the editing, the videoing.
Hmm.
I used to host karaoke and trivia, and I would take them, they would read off the trivia questions, and they would set up all the gear so they know how to connect speakers and
Hmm.
microphones, all the basic, and I really could. I could use one of them right now. Just be my editor. I can record every day if you could just cut it
Yeah.
together, publish it.
Yeah.
If I need help with, I'm so busy. I can record in 5 minutes. The rest of it, yeah.
Hmm.
I can't get them to like it right now, but you try.
It'll be something. They're gonna be something. This is amazing, brother, that you have like this full on passion, that there's a avenue for it, the
Yeah,
podcasting, and there's the media
yeah,
for it. I like to tell emerging artists, like, back in the day it was rough. It was television, newspapers, and radio, and that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
And or you can go into debt with the yellow pages, and because I used to have a tattoo shop way back in the 90s, and we used to spend on having that ad, because people used to flip through the yellow pages and stuff. And so, but now it's like there's so much creativity accessible to you to create, to share, to express yourself. And if you're not a talker, well, there's blogs. You can write it out, Yeah.
We live in the age of expression, man, and
Yes.
you know it's about to get better because the ugly voices are the loudest right now. That's the thing. No algorithm can keep you down.
Right.
No person can keep you down. We don't have to go out on street corners and yell to the 5 people in our area anymore. We get the internet, and
Right.
it is a beautiful thing to be who you are, and hopefully who you are is a beautiful person trying to make better humans in the
Hmm.
world. But, you can always see who isn't,
Yeah.
and that's also a beautiful thing because you know how to block and
Yeah,
move.
that's true. Correct. Yep. But whatever you set out to do, there's someone out there that's going through the same thing.
Yeah.
There's someone. You're not the only one, and this is not your own. The story is not just you by yourself. It's somebody, and so that's where it's great. It's awesome. I'm gonna ask you one more question before we wrap up. Tell us a little bit about what is the digital media track at DragonCon, because you mentioned all the hours of programming. I assume digital, computers, the podcast is
Mhm.
the internet is a digital medium, but tell us more about and some of the what can we expect in some of these tracks that's discussed.
So I have to I make that argument every year for every celebrity that comes to DragonCon. It's
Hmm.
like they were in a TV show. Technically, that's digital.
Yeah.
Digital media. Didn't it? It went to streaming, didn't it? That's what I did. Uh, what we're considering a reality track because it is about digital media creation. I actually wanted to call it that digital media creation
Okay.
track and the wiseness of the powers that be. So how about we just drop the creator part
Hmm.
because we want it to be inviting to everybody. I went, fair enough.
Uh-huh.
You're right. I'll take it. And sure enough, the year I announced it, we actually had some people come to the final panel and say that they were not intending to come back to Dragon Con because they couldn't find a place for them because they weren't a podcast. It was called the
Right.
podcast before, which is
Uh-huh.
great. That's where it was born, but the world grew.
Right.
And they were YouTube creators and they felt
Hmm.
just by default they didn't belong there.
Hmm.
And so that's what you get is inclusion of everything that's creative based in digital media. We have a great it's Friday night in the Crystal Ballroom. It's Doodle Crew because it's after dark. So it's Doodle Crew during the day if you find them online, but they do after hours adult stuff, and it's for artists who if you watch D&D or listen to D&D anything botched a D&D podcast, they are four drunks from the Appalachian Mountains who loosely play D&D, and it's hilarious. They're great comedians, but
Uh-huh.
there's an edge to them. They're one of their guys hosts this show, so they encourage the crowd to come up with the craziest, dirtiest, whatever prompts, and they drop them in the hats, and then they pull it out and they read the character and what the character's supposed to be doing.
Uh-huh.
Four artists go to town
Wow.
and 10-minute sketches in their own style, and then it all gets auctioned off for charity.
Nice. That's
And
nice.
it's very fun. It's the most rock and roll art show I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
And that's just one aspect. Then we do have D&D stuff. We have some larger creators. Thomas Sanders is coming this year. You might know him from Vine in the Vine days.
Hmm.
He started off, he's the guy going, story time. Princess Walton to the table. And he walk up to somebody and say something, but he's continued to grow and do YouTube and music and a bunch of other stuff. We have Uploads of Fun coming. Um, so what else do we do? We have two different panels on how to light your studio or how to be started in lighting
Okay.
with a creator
Nice.
who's all about light.
Hmm.
We have how to start, or like three different panels on how to start recording or how to get different recording advice.
Nice.
We have Blurred and Out, which is a huge black nerd. That's what Blurred stands for, is black nerd. Improv comedy show that's based
Hmm.
off of Wild and Out by Nick Cannon,
Hmm.
and it blew the roof off. I mean, we have Mark Gunn who does Irish and Celtic music podcast, doing the final panel for us on Monday. He's done it for the life of the entire track. So 20 years, 10 years, I forget how
Yeah.
long it's been. 20 years. And we do the Irish and the nerdy Irish pub sing
Mm-hmm.
along. And he does songs about Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to learn something, it's there. We have a panel, kid creators with the kids from Uploaded Funds telling other
Okay.
kids how to
Uh-huh.
create safely. And so it's we got adult content, we've got creator content, we have anything that can inspire you is there.
Wow.
And I dare say it just matches all the other tracks out there that have different things on them. But our
Mm-hmm.
heart, if you Artist King, I know it has to be you and your wife. Just
Mm-hmm.
the more I get to know you guys, the more I go, your charity is you, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
The DragonCon track is the same way for me. It's like I just poured everything into it that I'd ever want to get out of it.
Yeah.
It's just attracted this slew of different creators. Book talk. We have book talk panels. We have law, copyright panels on
Uh-huh.
how to,
Right.
and
Yeah.
uh, just anything and everything that could be amazing. I feel like is we try to squeeze it in
Yeah.
to 5 days, and somehow we keep squeezing in more, and it keeps
Yeah.
fitting. I don't know how we do it, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is our record year this year. Like,
It sounds like you don't want people leaving the con at all. Like we need to bring a lunch, breakfast, and your
yeah,
snacks because
and a cot, maybe we have some room out in
and
the
a
hallway
con.
to take a nap. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff at the con 24 hours, but
Yeah.
keep in mind, all of that I'm talking about is from 10 a.m. in the morning to 12:31 a.m. at
Yeah.
night,
Uh-huh.
and then we're done. So then you get to go to the parties till
Yes.
4 or 5 a.m. and the concerts and everything else. And yeah, I've heard there's other tracks at Dragon Con. I don't believe it. I only know that it's digital media tracks. And we're in the bottom of the Hilton. We're in the
You're
basement
right.
at
But
6,
you have to
7.
leave
Like, what's
the
6, 7?
yeah, yeah. Don't even cross the street. Just stay inside. Stay inside. That's awesome. That is amazing. A lot of these things that you mentioned, I've seen and I've visited. I've hung out, and but yeah, you know, as my grandson is getting older, he's 10. He's gonna be 11 next month, and he is finding his lane for creativity,
Yeah.
and so I like taking them out to like we've been to MomoCon a few times,
Okay, yeah,
and I
yeah.
want him to see like, look, these this one artist we met at the I think that was Dragon Con last year. I took him, and there's an artist, I forgot his name, and but he's made up his own Pokemon, and he makes the actual cards and
Oh,
stuff, and
nice.
he sells the little bundles. And my grandson is making Pokemon all the time, and I like, here you are, a kid who likes to do this thing, but look, you don't ever have to change because this guy is grown and
Yeah.
and he found a way to
You
continue
found
to
a
do
way.
that. He's still
Yeah.
doing that. And
Yeah.
that's what I like to take him out to see is like, look, you know, your life does not have to change for the thing that you like to do. You know, you just have to commit and say, this is what I really want. And bro, all those things will come to you. We're gonna do all that's possible to
Yeah.
make sure that the path is laid out for you to follow through. So
Yeah.
hearing you talk about all these things is amazing.
I appreciate being on, Dan. You're reflecting. You're just as amazing. I love how much passion you put into art and teaching me and connecting people, and we're the same. We're doing the same passion, but we found the tool that works for us.
Hmm.
And that's really what it comes down when you're a creator. You think you're not a creator until you find the right tool.
Hmm. Right. Yep. They find the right tool, and then you're hooked. And that's it.
Yeah.
If it's get that hook on you, that's it. Like I don't want nothing else. Well, thank you, Charles, for all this amazing sharing that we just had right now. The Rock God of Podcasting. How'd you come up with that name? What does that mean? Like, when did that come to you and say, "That's it, I'm the Rock God of Podcasting"?
So I've always been accused of self-naming, and the truth is, between me and the two guys, we can't remember if I ripped off some title like I'm the Rock God of Podcasting or if they gave it to me. But I used it in the sense that uh second year DragonCon, third year DragonCon, something, and then it. Uh
Yeah, it flipped, it flicked, and it came back. Yep. Start over with that DragonCon part.
yeah. So okay, second, third year at DragonCon, um, some new creator came and they finally stood up at one of the panels where there's a Q&A back and forth, and they said, to be honest, when I heard Rock out podcasting, I was like, that D-bag, and and like, and I'm like, fair enough, because it's the energy. It's like if you
Right.
hear the name, and it is a little pretentious, but if you hear the name and it goes, well, guess what? You just saved us both a whole lot of time and trouble because we're not going to work well together. But if you
Mm,
hear the name, like I've had somebody to go, they just read it like, oh, I need to talk to that guy about
mm-hmm,
podcasting. It's like that's
mm-hmm,
it.
mm-hmm.
Going back to the story of how I started podcasting, that everybody's NPR and just down. Like, no, Metal Attitude Meets Talk Radio. And I at that I still am a fan of Metallica, but at that point I'd seen them like 6 times, whatever. Like, that's the energy I wanted to bring. I'm a front man on the biggest stage in the world with the most coolest metal attitude. I don't know where I can swear, so I'm not gonna swear, but
Mm-hmm.
swear word, metal band, and giving that energy to the crowd and giving it back, and so that's really what I use it to portray. Is like, as you can see, the passion comes through, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll be edgy when I can be edgy, and it's fun
Right.
because you need, man, we seek balance. We say we seek balance, but all we do is live in imbalance. And so when I
Mm-hmm.
can tip
Sure.
you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
either I'm gonna tip you in the right direction to create, or I'm gonna show you your world was just about to fall over. Why don't you come let me help you pick you up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it. I like it. That's right. No, what you say is right. Like as soon as you hear it, either it smacks you in the mouth, and you're like, okay, okay, or you
Yeah,
want to miss it and move on, and so you already have your audience is set. You know
yeah,
your audience. You know who's gonna. Yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean,
like it.
you can't ever go, I can't believe he said that joke. It's like, rock on of podcasting. What do you think he's not going to say? He already said that. I mean, there's
Mm.
nothing, I mean, you can tell I'm not hateful, I'm not racist, not any of that, but it's like, yeah, I'll say some things.
Yeah.
Uh, well, yeah.
Speak your mind. That's it. You gotta speak your mind. I
Well, invoke and free your mind, and the rest will follow. And I took that to heart.
That's right. There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you have like 14 different link trees that link through each other. It's
Yeah,
crazy, bro. It's crazy. I clicked through so many different things to
spot.
and but definitely making sure that I follow all your podcasts on Apple because that's where I go through for my
Yeah.
listening pleasure. And but if the people were to find you on one Instagram and be like, I need to know what the rock god of podcasting is doing this week, where should they go?
It's that, I'm Rock God Podcasting on the 2 platforms I like is Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
I do push some things out through the other platforms. I have my own website, charlesmcfall.com, rockgodofpodcasting.com will guide you there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the link tree because I can change it quickly, like my
Yeah.
newsletter's there, which
Mm-hmm.
is also my website. But yeah, it's basically if you I always tell stories. So many years ago, I was in Vegas, and I've been working with Brian Ibbett for a minute, and I brought a bunch of cards because it's a podcasting conference. Want to hand out the cards, and I asked him when we're going to dinner. I was like, "Hey man, I haven't seen you hand out cards. Don't you have a card?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And he hands it to me with his name, Brian K. Ibbett, and that's it. It's like he
Uh-huh.
goes, "Flip it over," and I flip it over. It says, "Google me."
That's right.
And
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to be that level. And I am. You
Yes.
type rock out of podcasting
Yes.
from there. If you type in Charles McFall, I come up second to
Mhm.
a stupid animated coach and Family Guy because he was Charles McFall. That's not me.
Uh-huh,
I'm the
uh-huh, uh-huh.
yeah,
Yes, yes. This is a good lesson right here. The rock out of podcasting. Google it because and I tell artists like, look, your name is this thing on TikTok. Your name is that thing on Facebook. Your name, like, bro, how can I keep track? Like, how do I even know that's you? And so mine is Delta Tango Mike. Anywhere or just Google it, and it's only one. There's only me, and so that's it. That's the right mode right there for social media. hmm Well, thank you once again, Rock Out of Podcasting, for hanging out with us, sharing with us. Hope to see you in a couple of months now. That's coming up. It's
yeah.
coming up quick. Less than 2 months.
days, something like that.
Yes, yes. I am definitely going to stop by some of your panels, see what you got going on. It's already, it's like you need to bring your walking shoes when
Yes.
you're,
Hydrate,
yeah,
get
hmm,
rest, and
yep,
bring your walking shoes.
yep, and get ready to hang out with a lot of amazing, talented, creative people. So, yes, I'll see you then,
Yes, sir.
and keep listening to you week after week, man. Keep sharing the shenanigans.
I'm gonna. I love being on here, and we should do it again sometime.
Also, yes, yes, and anytime you have guests, let me know, man. I love to talk about coffee. I
Yeah,
like talking about grandkids, and I
I'm
love
surprised you
technology.
ain't been on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love technology. I've learned to do the thing I like to do with the basics. I like to say I'm an artist who figured out to do how to do some things. You
Mm.
know, I'm not a video editor. I'm not trying to make Star Wars. You know, when I'm editing video, it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I'm open to all of that. Thank you so much, brother, and we will
Absolutely.
talk soon.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you. The Artist King podcast is made possible by the support of our sponsors, Azalea Creative Group, Sketchable Plus, and Visual Artworks. Once again, I am DTM, and I look forward to sharing the business of art with you. Until next time, stay creative.